My name is Charlie Cage. I'm a dentist. I'm here today with Dr. Sarah Gwynn Moore. So you just finished residency.
Yes.
You did an AEGD. So you spent the last year just kind of learning a little bit more about dentistry.
Yes.
So I'm curious to find out from what you've learned in dental school, how has that been different and prepared you as far as learning dentistry compared to your last year?
Yeah, no, that's a really good question. And I think something that I've thought about like just throughout the year, and especially at the end, just kind of reflecting. But yeah, how it's made me approach dentistry differently. Because I think just throughout dental school that you're obviously just trying to balance and trying to learn the basics, and you're just simply doing what you're told. So you're learning that, you know, crown prep is 1 millimeter reduction here, 1.5 here, and it's like, okay, I can do that. And yes, you have the basics of why, you know, material failure or whatever, but I think really throughout the residency that I was challenged by both you and Commander Harrell just to kind of look beyond that and to do my own research. And I think that's when I realized, actually, that's what I appreciate about dentistry is that you do have to have that skill to be able to decipher and to read the research to really build that foundation yourself. Because I just think about, you know, a lot of people that I'm sure came out of dental school and just still kind of doing the same stuff that we learned in dental school. But throughout the year, I was encouraged to use new materials, new techniques, just think about things differently, to treatment plan, which I think is one of the hardest things in dentistry, and really just being research-based and just also understanding that dentistry is continually evolving.
Yes.
And just trying to stay up to date with all that. And so I think that that's like the skill that I learned and really just like came to realize and appreciate just moving forward, just learning, just always being a constant learner and doing that research and just, yeah, challenging yourself to stay on top of it, not only for you and your own knowledge, but like for your patients. At the end of the day, it's all about your patients, and it's about providing the best care for them. And so I think that's kind of what I took away the most.
Yeah. That's perfect. So you're saying that even though you're no longer a resident,
yes,
you're out of dental school, you're still learning.
Yes,
right?
Absolutely.
So I think your first bout of learning in dentistry was in dental school.
Yes.
How would you say that your wellness aspect of life, not just as a dentist, but as a person as a whole, when you're in dental school, you're always studying.
Right.
And I guess when I was in dental school, my thought process was, I'm going to struggle right now.
Yeah.
Because when I become a dentist, I can relax.
Yes. Yes.
Do you think you're at that point where you can relax?
I think I'm starting to get to that point. I think that so now that I'm beyond the school aspect of things, and I can focus a lot more just on the patient care, I'm starting to relax a lot more because I'm realizing a lot more and really just how important boundaries are. Just obviously with patients, but more just like the work-life balance, being able to leave that at work. I think, thankfully, when I was in Hawaii, I was, you know, worried about coming back to get to work, and I was worried about my patients, and you kind of took a moment and were just like, you know, worry about where you are and enjoy it. Like, and so I've always had a hard time of kind of turning that off on the weekends, on vacation, just like always having my mind running. And so I'm definitely still like learning that wellness aspect. Even today, I was like thinking about something that I could be doing, and I was like, you know what, I need this time for myself to recharge, not only for myself, but also like to be the best clinician so that I can be my best self for my patients. I don't do it well. I haven't figured it out at all. Way easier said than done. I'm learning it, as is everything in dentistry, but so I'm still kind of trying to figure out that piece.
Yeah.
But
so you mentioned boundaries, and
yes.
I think that's one of my favorite words.
Yeah.
Right?
I may have gotten it from you. I don't know.
I don't know. But it's something, and you said that you're still learning, and it's something that even though I've been practicing dentistry itself for over 10 years,
yes,
I'm only now starting to incorporate it into my daily life, right? Just the nature of how we do our occupation, which is in the military.
Yes.
It's difficult for us to create that boundary, right? Because we signed up for our service, and so our personal time is no longer our own. So I think that's something that I'm still struggling with. But once I started to incorporate it into my life, I realized how beneficial it is.
Yes.
So when you mentioned that you're creating boundaries, how has that changed since you graduated from dental school?
Yeah. I definitely think it's boundaries, just in my time, my own time, how much I'm giving to my work. And like I said earlier, just like making sure to leave that at work, and taking those time on the weekends to recharge, do something else. The boundary of that, definitely like boundaries with patients. I've always, it's the classic line of like, I care too much. But it's to a point that it's like, I care so much that sometimes like I will sacrifice other things for my patients. Again, whether it be time, whether it be emotionally, I like want to feel for the patient so bad and I want to care for them so bad that I'm sacrificing, you know, not happiness, but just like these unattainable goals that I'm just like constantly reaching for. And so, so I think that that's another boundary that I'm just kind of learning as well. And so, yeah, I think time, and then I think just finding other things to find joy and happiness in, whether it be friendships, relationships. I love to just any activities, working out, exercising, you know, going travel and hiking, all that stuff. I think it's just, yeah, finding those other things that kind of form your identity and not just making it this I am a dentist, I am a naval officer.
Yes.
Just I'm so much more than that. And
yes.
like yeah.
But that's what they drill in your head.
Exactly.
Not to say anything bad about it, but that's one of the main things that
you're a naval officer first.
Absolutely. And I think it takes a special kind of person to join the military. And everything that you mentioned about the reason why you do these things, the reason why you sacrifice your own well-being, it has nothing to do with financial compensation whatsoever. Right? Because we don't get paid extra
no.
for what we do. It's just your pure empathic nature to take care of your patients, right? Which is the most pure thing. I mean, like literally getting goosebumps. But it's like the most pure thing that someone could ever offer up, right? Is your own well-being for somebody else.
Right.
But there has to be a boundary.
Yes. It's not sustainable at all.
It's not.
No.
Have you ever encountered friends who've had a hard time with maintaining that boundary and maybe kind of pushed it too far?
Yes. I think just because I'm a sucker for for just people in general. I will always be, you know, I like to think that I'm the person that I will always have your back. You know, if you call me late at night, like I will always be there. And to the point where it's exhausting, but at the same time, like quality time and acts of service are my love language. And so like I also get fulfillment out of that. So yes, I think and I can't think of like really any specific or like any like toxic friendships or relationships that I've had that instance. But I do kind of have to remind myself of like, no, like it's okay to say no. I guess that at the bottom of the, like bottom line, it's, I have a hard time saying no. And so I've at least started to kind of figure that out of like, you know, oh, I've really overcommitted myself here. Let me like take a step back.
Yes.
I do that with a lot of things. Events. So, I'm like I can do it all. I can make you know, this dinner after this happy hour after that. I'm like, whoa, that's
Who
not.
Needs sleep?
No, and like why? Yeah. So, but yeah, no, I can't think of like specifically, but yeah, I think it's kind of back to the boundaries and just learning to say no.
Have you always been that way?
Yes. And I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I think it's I'm the youngest kid, and so a little bit of a people pleaser. You know, I just want to be one of the big kids. My parents are incredibly selfless too, and so I see that, and so I think I just want to emulate them, and then in terms of just like, you know, the selflessness and we sign on the dotted line to serve in our military at the expense of, you know, we're not financially compensated, and you know, time-wise we're always on the clock, and so I saw both my siblings do that, and I think that that's where I also saw that too, and I was like, you know, that's ingrained in me, but it's also I saw the fulfillment out of that, and just like being able to serve your country, and then for me uniquely be able to serve our service members is, I think, just an incredible thing to do, experience. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So this past year, that was your first year in the military.
Yes.
First year as a dentist.
Yes.
What would you say was your best and worst experience?
Best and worst experience. My best experience, I don't think of really any one thing. But I think just the experience of getting to, we have so many things at our disposal, just because financially the military, they make sure to supply and have the best materials and the best technology. And so, we work together a lot on ExoCAD, for example, or, digital software, digital planning, everything like that, digital design. And I think just learning that, that was kind of like my best experience, because in a way I'm a nerd, but like, I never thought that I would get so much enjoyment of just, being able to design these prosthesis and smile designs and doing all this like online that I never would have imagined. I didn't even know that was something offered in dentistry coming out of dental school. I mean, I knew the whole platform of doing CAD/CAM, but I didn't know like to what extent. I thought that was really reserved for the labs. I thought it was, you send them your stuff and they design it and whatever, but like being able to do that on your own, I think it's just been awesome. And I've learned so much just about design and even like prep design. Like, oh, I can do that a lot better. And gosh, having your preps blown up on a giant screen is the most humbling experience. Anyway, that was a very long-winded answer to best experience. But I've just really enjoyed that, and just the military being able to offer that, and I'm not worried so much about how much time I'm getting with patients, how many patients I'm seeing, and all that stuff. And so, not being able to worry about that is invaluable. My worst experience, I feel like everything just was a learning curve, learning, I don't know, uphill climb. So learning curve, and we talked about this recently so my worst experience, I think, was just, I had a patient that we placed an implant in. It was a front tooth, and it was recently, and found out that the implant might be failing. Hasn't even gotten to the point of like it is failed yet,
right.
But might be failing. But so I got this news after I had come back from leave, and it was just so overwhelming, because it was another situation of just, I cared so much and I wanted so much for this patient. And I felt immediately I took on responsibility for everything that situation. I felt responsibility for, the implant being placed, or, the implant placement, the actual like angulation and everything, the prosthetic design, whether that was a situation. And so I think immediately I felt responsibility. And so I think I use the word I spiraled. Very quickly I spiraled. I think it was Commander Hell was talking at me, and she's, just very kindly explaining the situation, because she just happened to see the patient. And I just like blacked out. I felt physically sick, and walking to this next patient, I was just so in my head from like the moment on. I had to step out, just because I was like I said, spiraling. And again, it was just me telling myself, it was that negative voice. Like I said earlier, I am my own worst enemy. It was that negative voice of saying, you're not good. Using this one situation. I've had plenty of great experiences this past year, plenty of great successes, but at the end of the day, I feel like I will remember that this like one failure is like saying that's me, and I'm not good. And so, I did take a moment, but I think even now, I guess it's been like 2 weeks. I still think about it, but like I am still kind of trying to remind myself that like, look at the positives in it, as look at it as a learning experience. We don't know what might have caused that.
No.
There's so many factors that could have gone into it. And I think just kind of reminding myself that dentistry is a practice.
Yes. And
not everything is going to go perfectly. We are not perfect. At the end of the day, we are human, and we're trying to just simply restore function, and really appreciating. I was having this conversation with a friend, but just really appreciating the situation that we're in to be able to provide this for our patients.
Yeah.
But that was just
You look at that case though, and like as an outsider, I'm looking at all the information that they gave me. with this implant. And this was a case that you had 3D imaging. It was three-dimensionally designed.
Yes.
As accurate and like by the book.
Yes.
With the most high-tech technology that you could have used for the implant. You had one of the best surgeons.
Yes.
That we have there, right there with you. He wasn't outside of the room or anything. He was right there with you, guiding you through it. Just incredibly smart person. All these variables that are telling you that it's not your fault.
Right.
But you still feel
Absolutely.
like it was.
It's such a toxic trait, but just like focusing in on the negative, not seeing the other factors, not seeing the positives in it.
Right.
It's not healthy, and I recognize that. And the fact that like I felt it so obviously emotionally I was upset, but like physically feeling that, that was tough.
But even before we start a procedure, that's part of the consent form, right? It's saying that even if we do everything perfectly,
there is the possibility. Fail. Yes, of course.
And it could have nothing to do with you whatsoever, right? Because all you can do is put something in, and then after that, it's the patient's responsibility to take care of it. Whether it's them doing hygiene or just their genetics or how they heal.
Right, protecting it.
Right?
Yeah.
So many different things that could cause failure. So it's just interesting that you took it so hard.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
How do you deal with failure?
Not well. I mean, in short, not well. Because again, I've been down this road before. I had a similar situation in dental school of something so minor, but in my head, I just like blew it up and forecasted it of like, no, this is my legacy. This is who I am as a dentist. I'm just not good. And again, it's just that negative voice, and I've tried to kind of retrain those negative thoughts and filter them out with, no, that you're actually, again, in a unique position that you can provide this for a patient.
Yeah.
But yeah, so how well do I deal with it? Again, not well. But I'm learning. I'm learning to let things go and just kind of filter it out with positive. And then again, back to the boundaries, being able to leave that, because I had to remind myself that I can't take that with me everywhere. Because I can't continue to, have good relationships if I'm so just hard on myself. I can't have, just enjoying life if I'm just like so wrapped up in these negative thoughts and negative experiences. And then I can't be a good dentist, like at the bottom line. So yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So I remember my first failure as a dentist was doing a root canal, and I perfed.
Yeah.
It was hard.
Yeah.
But
and the specialists do it.
Yes, they do. They do.
Yeah.
And he said to me, "You haven't done enough root canals."
Absolutely.
Until you've perfed a tooth or you've broken a file.
Right.
Until you've made a mistake.
It's a numbers game. It is.
It is. So I just think it's so funny how we're still so hard on ourselves when we all understand that failures happen. I just don't think that it's taught enough in dental school.
No.
To let you know that it's okay to fail.
Right. And one of the things that I really appreciate about the specialist that I was working with is just he is the first to use his, not failed cases, but his learning cases as material to provide for the next generation. He is the first to show you, I did this, or this happened, here's how I dealt with it. Maybe it wasn't perfect, but I learned. And the next time I ran into it, I know how to deal with it.
Yes.
So like, I just appreciated that so much. And he was the first to admit, like, he doesn't know something. But yeah, back to, oh, you haven't done enough. Absolutely. Like, you have not done it. And I know I'm in my first year of dentistry and beyond dental school. Again, it's a numbers game. There's going to be the crowns that don't fit. There's going to be the implants that fail and the root canals that you perf or get a file stuck. Like, it's all bound to happen.
Yes.
Things happen. And yeah, it's being able to take that in stride and learn from it, I think, is what makes just a resilient dentist and leader. And but I mean, we're all similar in so many personalities, just like we are all perfectionists.
Yes.
And so it's really hard to let that go. But
it is.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
So the next time you have an implant case, a number
8, 9. Yeah, this was 8. I had 8 and 9 going
one
at the
of
same
those,
time. Yeah.
essential.
One was great. The other was just,
Yeah. So the next time you have a case like that,
Mm-hmm.
how would you feel approaching it if you were going to be the surgeon on that case?
If I was going to be the surgeon. Surgically, again, everything was planned perfectly. And so there's not much I feel like I would have approached differently there.
How would you prepare yourself?
How would I prepare myself? I think just having that experience of like, it can happen, and setting my expectations up as well as the patient's.
Yeah. But the patient's expectations were like,
Yeah.
No, I totally understand.
Sure. Yeah.
Because this was a second time.
It was a second placement.
Was failed.
Yeah.
The patient already had that expectation.
Sure. Yeah.
So I'm
the one that's just taking all of the grief.
Yeah.
I'll take it for them. Yeah.
Yes. And everyone else.
Yes, and everyone else in the situation. I'll bear that.
Yeah.
But no. But yeah, no, I think it's setting up my own expectations of again, we're not perfect. Biology plays into a lot of things.
Yes.
A lot of external factors go into dentistry, into medicine, and so there's only so much that we control, and we can only do our best.
Yes.
And
but it will pop up again.
For sure.
Right?
Yes.
That voice will say,
yes,
failed last time.
Yeah.
Are you really
can't
going to
do
do
it
this again? What are you going to tell that voice?
Yeah. I think it's just don't stop trying. I mean, it's you're going to continue to try to provide. I can definitely see myself kind of having that voice creep back into my head of,
so this is the voice telling you, you failed last time.
Yeah, you failed, you can't do it again.
You messed up. What are you going to tell her? Are you going to stab her?
Yeah.
Or are you going to tell her and reason with her? What are you going to do?
She's
smiling.
Yeah, we go head to head. What would I tell her? I mean, just try to quiet her and just like, I mean, it can't hurt but to try again. And you can only hope for success. And I don't know. Put her in a closet, like say you don't belong. I don't know.
Right.
I think it's filtering it out with the positives.
Yeah.
And just like drowning that voice out with, you are capable. You've prepared for this, and you, in your hands, you can do this. So, yeah.
So I read a book recently, and by read I mean I listened to.
Yeah, audiobook
when I drive. And I think that was always my approach, right? Is to try to like mute out that voice.
Yes.
Right. In this book, it mentioned instead of trying to drown out that sound, to recognize it. Right.
Yeah.
To realize that that's not an enemy.
Yeah.
But it's actually part of you who's there to help you. Right? Is that helpful side of you. And so when they tell you, hey, you failed last time, to say instead, hey, I understand what you're doing. Thank you for protecting me. Thank you for having my back. Right?
Kind of like reframing it. Yeah.
But I got this. Right? And if it fails again, it's okay.
Yeah.
But I did everything in my control to make sure that it doesn't happen. And then the rest is just left to happen, right? And then it's more of a switch where it's not, we're trying to block it out,
right,
or ignore it, but just reframe it to say, hey, I get it. I understand why you're here, right? This is no longer a fight, right? There's no longer tension. So I appreciate you helping me out, but we're good.
Yeah, we don't need
we're
you
safe,
right now.
Right? We're safe.
Yeah. No, I love that. I mean, the whole idea of just like reframing it, using it to almost your advantage.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I thought that was interesting. And I think it's only been a few months when I heard that, and I thought it was really interesting.
Definitely.
But it's like, I recently found out about the promotions board, right? Something that I was looking forward to for like the last 2 years. And I was like, oh my gosh, 100%. Everyone was telling me, you'll get it this year.
Right.
And when I found out that I didn't, I think any other day I would have just lost it.
Yeah.
My day would have been ruined. It would have just been a mess. It was the day before my birthday, and I found out I didn't make it. And I always just say, like, how proud I am of myself.
Absolutely.
With how I reacted to the news. Because I literally just went upstairs, I took a deep breath, I made a joke, and I said, these are literally the times that really define who I am. Every time I go through a hard time, I say to myself, this is a time that defines who you are. Right? You have this image of who you want to be. Now is your test. Are you going to pass it? Or are you going to fail it? And I went through my day just fine. It was like, oh, I was sad, I was disappointed, but I lived my life. I enjoyed my day, right? And I kept on thinking in the back of my head, oh, don't worry, you're going to get your meltdown soon.
It's like, waiting for the shoe to drop.
Don't worry, tomorrow we'll cry in the shower kind of thing.
Right.
And I didn't, because every time I felt like that coming up again, it was like, this is your moment, right? It was just
when do you think that like changed for you?
I wish it was like one certain point in time. But it's times like that I realized that me being on my wellness journey is a journey, and I'm making progress.
Absolutely.
You know, but it's not anything to where it's like stops. Like you're now at this level. You're now at this level. You're now at this level, right? But it's more of a gradual process. And then when something ruffles your feathers, to be like, oh, wait, I would have reacted this way before.
Yeah.
And like,
look at this progress.
Like, oh, wow.
Yeah.
You're doing great. But I wish you could say one thing. And I wish I could even say where I am on the spectrum of, you know, having that more positive mind frame. Because for me, it's not easy by any means. I think just the way that I was raised, I'm more of a pessimistic person. Like, I would easily have a meltdown, just be like, why has this happened to me? I'm the only one. Why me? I could easily be that person. But looking at where I am now and understanding where I could be, I know there's progress, but I'm so happy. Yeah. I'm so happy that I'm making progress. It's like, it's mind-blowing. And I don't know if you know this, but I have a couple of chronic illnesses. So I have endometriosis and I have fibromyalgia.
Oh my gosh.
And it's just like, why? Like, why is this happening? And when I was diagnosed with fibromyalgia, they related that to stress, right? Because that was like my second year in the military. And that's when I was like, okay, I think that was the actual start of my wellness journey. Did I make a lot of progress in those few years after the diagnosis? No. It was like, progress was slow. Right. It was so slow. But I think I finally got to the point where I was able to say, like, I'm really killing myself with these expectations that no one cares about, right? I'm killing myself. I'm causing myself more pain when I should be the one I should be the most kind to. Yeah. Like, why am I doing this? So when I realize that and I understand that my personality isn't unique to myself, I'm not alone in this world. It's not the whole why me. There are lots of us with this type of personality. Yes. And that's why I started to talk more about wellness. Because if I can help somebody else not go through the things that I went through, then that brings me joy. Yeah. Yeah. You know? And so I think that's kind of why I got into teaching. And I'm trying to figure out that balance between, yes, I want you to work hard, right? I want you to do your best, work to take care of your patients, to learn dentistry, but also I want you to take care of yourself. Right. As a wellness, in a wellness aspect. So we had a resident that dropped out because they didn't want to be a dentist. And my conversation with them was, I'm so happy you figured that out, right? I'm happy for you that you're even able to speak up and do that, because that in itself is like...
Recognizing that early, like why,
It's a big step to go against everything.
Right.
From your parents to the military to the program, it's everything. And so I realized how difficult that was. And then I also communicated that we can't mess with our patients. Too.
Right, of course.
Right? But it's still, I've never yelled at anyone. And my goal is to never make people feel smaller than they probably already think that.
Yeah.
Right?
Like, try not to add to like that little voice.
Yeah.
And I think, it's important to, still, as someone on the receiving end of that, to like take those moments and again, not see it as like a personality flaw. Like you're having those conversations about making yourself a better dentist, and that's like, again, recognizing that separation. Obviously there's like some overlap, but like emotionally being able to have that those two distinct
and that's a
things.
tough thing.
Yeah.
Is because if I were to critique your skills as a dentist, you have that identity of me.
Right.
I am the dentist.
Yes.
And if you're saying my dental skills aren't any good, then I'm not good.
Right.
Right? And it's the same thing when I say, my God, you are a fantastic resident. You are a great dentist.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, I'm so proud of you with your year and what you accomplished. Even though I feel like we still didn't have, like, the amount of time I wish I could have spent with you to, like, really, like, get you to the level that I know you want to be at, right? Which is, it's above the residency at this point. But just
it's gonna be years,
it's just you as a person. With I know your expectations and your passion for dentistry. No matter how much I tell you, like how proud we are of you, I feel like you still ignore it.
I do. I appreciate it 100% at the end of the day, but it's like, again, it's something in me is I can't take that. Like it's I don't deserve it. I don't know when I think I have this, like, I feel like, oh, one day you'll deserve it. and I know, I know it's bad, and I can't really get to the bottom line of why or where that comes from.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just always it's just there.
I need you. I so need you to get to that point.
I know.
It's not tomorrow. It's not anytime in the future. Now, like now, you are deserving.
I will try. Yes. But I think back to a point that you made of just feeling like you were alone. I think before we even had this conversation, having the conversation with Jenny, one of our other coworkers, other Navy dentist, it was after the dental ball, and I was taking her home, and we were just sitting there, and I don't even know how we got on the subject, but I was just telling her, it was just right after my whole situation with the implant, and I just told her like how physically ill I was, and she was telling me that she had like gone through that too, and I think just like having that conversation and be able to relate with somebody else, it was so life-giving, just knowing that somebody else had experienced that too, and it wasn't just like a flaw. It wasn't just like a flaw of my like personality. It was somebody else feels that too, and it was affirming. It stinks for the both of us. It's not good, but like being able to talk it out definitely helped, for sure. And so like being able to have conversations like this, and I mean, the sooner that I think that we can all recognize that well-being is important to us as a profession, I think that is huge. Yes. And I know it's going to always be a work in progress, but I appreciate all you've shared, and had no idea that all of that went into your diagnosis and everything, and that's hard.
That's life.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, it shouldn't be. I mean, we shouldn't drive ourselves like to that, but
it shouldn't.
Yeah.
But I think, and I always say to Jenny, it's nice that we can kind of talk about it, not to feel embarrassed about it. Let each other know when we're having a hard time, being there for each other.
Yes.
And knowing that, hey, we're just trying to do our best, right? Our heart is always in a good place.
Right.
Which is to take care of our patients. I think we can clearly tell between providers who are good and really care about their patients and those who really they're just in it for...
It's a means to an end.
Right. But if we create that community where we feel safe,
Mm-hmm.
right,
Mm-hmm.
with being able to say, wow, I had a failure today. I'm taking it harder than I should. I know I get it, but I still feel like crap. And to be like, yes, sister, I hear you.
Or
I
I've been there.
understand you.
Yes.
Right? I've
Yes.
been there. Not only to just be like, be supportive, but to also give you the space to feel that pain.
Yes. Yes.
Because I think we also need that. And then give you inspiration so that we don't have to feel as much pain next time we encounter it. Because we know it will.
Yes, it will.
Right? So my whole thing is not like, oh, another failure, or, oh, I don't deserve this. It is what it is, right? It is life. But the things that I can always control is my reaction to it.
Yes, absolutely.
That's all. Right? And then when we have the successes, put that in your cookie jar.
Yes, store that away, and
right?
and
remember it. Put it on display, so it's not anywhere hidden in the back of your closet.
Right.
So the whole thing of me being deserving, put your cookie jar out so you can see it, for everyone to see it, because you deserve it.
Yes.
You remind yourself that.
I will.
Right? When you see all the things in there and something else good happens, you remind yourself, yeah, because I've done all this, I am deserving. Right? And then when something bad happens, which it will, we compare it to our successes, right? We compare it to that jar, which is very full compared to the failures. And be like, I'm still more successful.
And I'm better for all of this, and and even the missteps along the way, for sure.
So if you had one piece of advice to your younger self.
Yes.
What would it be?
My one piece of advice to my younger self. I think I'm speaking to like my younger self as a dentist. Because I think that's just kind of where my mind goes in terms of struggling with things, right? Especially right now. I think it's just like as simple as you are good. Like, you are good. You care, which I think at the end of the day matters the most, and is going to help you progress the farthest. Of just simply caring for your patients, for your profession, for yourself, and just like it in so many ways. I guess taking a look at the cookie jar of just the successes that I have had, and just kind of reminding myself, and I guess taking a moment to appreciate those. And I don't think that I do. So I think looking back and telling my younger self of like, no, look at what you've done, and look at what you've accomplished, and really just kind of like sitting that in a moment, I think can take that with you, and just like having those positive feelings moving into the bad days and moving into the bad situations, of just like reminding, oh, remember how you felt when you did this, or the good days of dentistry when you're like, man, that was good.
And you had a lot of those.
Well, I don't know. I mean, I'd like to think so, but like, there are some days that I'm just like, it's the super nerdy, like, I love dentistry. Like, I was able to do that. And so I think, just reminding yourselves, like, there is good in that, and you've done that. And, it doesn't all come from me. And the weight is not all from me. It's from my mentors. It's from, my friends, my peers. It's from my parents, my family. It's from, my faith. Everything else is telling me that I'm good. But just, like, I think listening to that. So, I think that's my one piece of advice.
I love that.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much.
Yes,
I appreciate you sharing with me.
Of course.
Good luck.
Thank you.
At your next duty station.
Thank you.
I know you'll have fun.
Yes.
And I hope you'll bring your big old full cookie jar with you.
Yes, I will. My portable, whatever fits in my luggage.